I told you lately that I love you? Have I told you there's no one else above you? Fill my heart with gladness, take away all my sadness, ease my troubles, that's what you do.
Now, please be seated. Well, Chris and Julie, this is the day that you've decided to become husband and wife again.
One more time.
Yeah. We get it right this time, right? Yeah. I just want you to know that I haven't written anything down or gone through anything in a book or anything like I would normally do. And the reason being is because sometimes it's better from the heart, you know. And no. Told you. Because we've been through a lot together.
Mm-hmm.
When I first met you guys, it was it was a difficult time. Julie came to see me after the loss of their daughter, because I believe you heard that I had lost a daughter. And so we went through some counseling and whatever, and the next thing you know, I go over to visit you, and there's this guy here. You know? And I think about the changes that have taken place in your lives. Then I believe you were in an apartment, later a mobile home, and now God has rewarded you. And you know, I believe that He rewards us when we're faithful. Faithful to Him and to each other. Marriage has been designed for the love of two individuals, but it goes beyond that. And I'm sure that you've discovered it. It's not just two individuals loving each other. It's two individuals allowing God to love the other person through them. And so a lot of times, marriages are just existence. Just people, you know, they love each other, but it doesn't last very long. But I've seen way too many times that couples that allow the Lord to love each other through them seem to last. And you guys made it for 40 years. And I just want to know, Julie, how did you do it? You're a special couple. Thank you for this honor. Now, I would like to ask that during the solemnness of this occasion, that you turn off your cell phones. Thank you, Tim. Perfect timing.
That's so awesome.
You know, we've all heard 1 Corinthians 13. It's used in every marriage. But I do it a little bit differently. And I'd like to remind you two of this, especially you, Chris, because I think this is directed to the husband. Love your wife with patience and with kindness. Love her without jealousy. Love her without bragging or arrogance. Do not ever act unbecoming to her. Because the love that both of you are supposed to have for each other is not to be provoked or provoking each other. It doesn't remember when you do wrong. Although that sometimes is easier to say than do, but it just doesn't seem to remind you of it. When somebody does wrong, when the other one does wrong, you might remember it for a short period, but you set it aside because your love overdoes that. Become righteous toward one another. Rejoice in the truth. But remember, the love that you have is to bear all things, believe all things, and hope in all things. And in marriage, endure all things. So, I understand you have some special things toward each other.
40 years ago, I married a 17-year-old
Punk?
little boy. I had no idea who you were going to grow into. And we were so naive. And we said these vows really not knowing what to expect, not knowing what it was going to mean and what it was going to entail. 3 years later, our little girl got sick.
Mm-hmm.
And we dealt with the worst thing a parent could ever have to deal with. We grew together through that time. We met the Lord through that time. You have been my rock. You have grown into the sweetest, most generous man that I have ever known. I can't imagine a kinder, more giving, more loving man ever. And I'm so grateful that God gave me you. I don't want another 40 years with you. I don't want to be 100.
Don't take it personally.
But I'll take whatever God gives us.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so grateful for you. And I love you more every day.
Chris?
We were children when we were married. We matured together and we grew together. We've known some of the most incredible highs. Watching our kids born, watching our kids get married, watching our grandkids be born, coming to know the Lord. And we've had some terrifying lows. And we've already talked about the lowest of the lows. The one thing for me is that I knew there were two things in this world that I could count on. And it was the love that I know that you have for me and that I have for you, and the promise that we made to each other 40 years ago. And I knew those would never go away. So my new promise to you, my new vow to you, is I want to spend the next however many years trying to prove myself worthy of that agape love that you have given me all these years. And I only pray that I can be worthy of it.
Now, the vows that you take are covenant vows. The state of California calls these things contracts. When you signed that certificate, you signed a contract between each other and the state. But that's not what Christian marriage is. That's just what we do because of the law. Christian marriage is a covenant. And the difference is, in the Old Testament, a covenant was sealed by a sacrifice. We don't sacrifice anymore, thank God. But we don't sacrifice anymore because Jesus was the final sacrifice. But when you marry, something has to die. You die to yourself. You live to the other. Are you going to do the song now?
Yeah.
Okay, do that.
Looks like we made it. Look how far we've come, my baby.
We might have took the long way. We knew we'd get there someday.
They said, I'll bet they'll never make it.
But just look at us holding on. We're still together, still going strong. You're still the one I run to, the one that I belong to. You're still the one I want for life. You're still the one that I love, the only one I dream of. You're still the one I kiss goodnight. Ain't nothing better. We beat the odds together.
Glad we didn't listen. Look at what we would be missing.
They said, I'll bet they'll never make it. But just look at us holding on. We're still together, still going strong. You're still the one I run to, the one that I belong to. You're still the one I want for life. You're still the one that I love, the only one I dream of. You're still the one I kiss goodnight.
Still the one. You are
Still the one I run to, the one that I belong to. You're still the one I want for life. You're still the one I love, the only one I dream of. You're still the one I kiss goodnight. So glad we made it. Look how far we've come, my baby.
There's something very traditional that I do at all ceremonies, and that is traditional vows. So, Christopher, look at your bride and repeat after me. I, Chris, do take you, Julie,
I, Chris, do take you, Julie,
still to be my lawfully wedded wife.
still to be my lawfully wedded wife.
From this day forward,
From this day forward,
for richer or poorer,
for richer or poorer,
in sickness and in health,
in sickness and in health,
until death do us part,
until death do us part,
until Jesus comes for us.
until Jesus comes for us.
This I covenant to you.
This I covenant to you.
You're going to be able to do this?
I don't know.
Julie, look at your groom and repeat after me. I, Julie, do take you, Chris,
I, Julie, do take you, Chris,
to be still my lawfully wedded husband.
to be still my lawfully wedded husband,
from this day forward,
from this day forward,
for richer or poorer,
for richer or poor,
for better or for worse,
for better or for worse,
and so until death do us part,
until death do us part,
or until Jesus comes.
or until Jesus comes.
So now, I have the joy of pronouncing you again as husband and wife, and you may kiss your bride. Now turn around and face your crazy friends. And I would like to introduce to you again for the second time, Mr. and Mrs. Chris Boshaw.
There for the first one.
Well, yeah.